Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the informative session of the Postgraduate Fellowships Abroad Program and Doctoral Infinite Fellowship for the 2025 call of La Caixa Foundation. First of all, we would like to thank your participation to this session. My name is Belén Perat, and today with my colleagues Patricia Nadal, Gisela Columinas, Elsa Mulet, and that's it, sorry. we are only four. We will provide you with some relevant information about the two calls we have recently opened and about what you have to do if you want to apply for one of these fellowships. The session is distributed in two different parts. In the first one, we are going to present you the relevant aspects, the main aspects of the calls which are now open. And then in a second part, we are going to open the floor to your questions and answers. Regarding the questions and answers space, let me give you two recommendations. The first of all, I hope you see you have available a specific box just to enter your question. So we are going to recommend you to wait until the end to the presentation because it's likely that most of the doubts will be solved during our presentation. And in the second recommendation is, in order to be as efficient as possible in the answering your doubts, we kindly ask you to add the specific name of the program the question is addressed to. For example, postgraduate, if for the postgraduate program, doctoral, if it's for the doctoral program, or general, if you consider that this is a general question of general aspects. So we are planning that the whole session will last around 19 minutes. So if we are running out of time and we do not answer your question and probably you have more doubts about it, please, during the presentation, you will see an email that you can directly contact us, and we in the following days we are going to answer your doubts. So two more things before I start with the presentation. This session is recorded, so in the following days you will receive a specific email with the link of the session, and you will also receive a survey. So we kindly ask you to give us feedback to answer the survey in order to improve these sessions. So now it's time to share my screen, and it's time to start with the presentation. So now the presentation is divided in six different parts. In the first part, we are going to explain, to give you more information, general information about the fellowship program. Then we will pass to explain you the specific calls, the specific programs we are offering. In the part 3 and 4, we are going to talk about if these fellowships are very competitive or not, and we will give you as well relevant information about the selection process. In the part 5, we are going to give you advices about the application process. Here we have an important novelty, an important new about it. And in the last part of the session, we will give you some specific advices and tips. So, what is the La Caixa Foundation Fellowship Program? The La Caixa Foundation's Fellowship Program is one of the oldest programs of La Caixa Foundation. The beginning was in 1982, and until from then we are granted more than 6,000 fellowships. In terms of budget, in all these years, we are accumulating an investment of 420 million euros. And that means more or less that annually we have around 33 million euros of budget. These numbers only show that the important support that La Caixa Foundation is making, supporting talent and supporting the academic careers. what kind of fellowships are offered? In total, in the 2025 call, we are going to grant 250 fellows or 250 fellowships. These fellows are distributed in 4 different programs. In the first place, we are offering 50 bachelor fellowships to students who want to pursue their bachelor studies here in Spain. In a second level, of this academic career, we are offering 100 postgraduate fellowships program. These fellowships are devoted to make to pursue master's or doctoral programs abroad. In this line, we are also offering 60 doctoral fellowships, the Infinite program in these 2 modalities, incoming and retaining. And these 2 modalities, my colleagues later on are going to explain, are going to give you more details. And in the last position, we are offering 40 postdoctoral junior leader fellowships, also in these 2 modalities. Just a quick reminder, the 2 calls we have currently open are the postgraduate and the doctoral Infinite fellowships. The bachelor and the postdoctoral are following other schedule, other calendar. So let's start focusing in the postgraduate fellowship abroad program. First of all, the first recommendation is all of this information is most of this information is available in the website. There in our website, you will find the rules for participation and other relevant comments that and our recommendation is, first of all, go there, check the documents, read, and then start with the application if you consider. So let's start with the postgraduate fellowships abroad program. As I said before, as I mentioned before, these fellowships are aimed for Spanish and Portuguese students to want to pursue postgraduate studies, means master's, doctorate, or doctorate programs, or even research stays in universities in Europe, North America, and Asia Pacific region. We are granted 100 fellowships, as I said, and in terms of numbers, the average cost of these fellowships are around 100,000 euros, depending on the destination, on the country, the destination, of course. And in terms of general numbers, this is the oldest program of the Caixa Foundation Fellowships area. That's why our investment is around 220 million euros from the beginning of the program in 1982. We are now granting, or we have already granted around 4,000 fellows. That means that this year in the call 2025 we are going to finance the 4,000 more than 4,000 fellows. So let's give you a specific details about the main aspects of this program. These fellowships is to start a master, PhD, or predoctoral research stage. What this means, a start. In previous editions, we were funding doctoral programs already started, but from the last year, this has already changed. So the fellowship must start with the studies. That's why we are not funding programs already started. The universities, as I said before, we are talking about all countries of the European higher education, United States, Canada, Australia, South Korea, India, Japan, Singapore, and China. There are exceptions. For example, this call is already open for Portuguese students. That means that Portuguese candidates cannot enjoy the fellow in Portugal, and Spanish candidates cannot enjoy the fellows in Spain. In relation the areas of knowledge, the college is open to all the disciplines, all the areas of knowledge, with the exception of the MBAs. The next important aspect that doctoral, if a candidate wants to pursue a doctoral program in Spain because he's Portuguese, or in Portugal because she's Spanish, this program is not eligible for them. They have to apply to the doctoral infinite program. As I said before, these fellowships is devoted to 20 months, to a program of 24 months, sorry, but in the beginning it's 1 year up to a maximum of the second year. So we are processing in the middle of the fellowship, there is a renewal process. And in terms of the dedication, this fellowship is for a full-time attendance-based studies. Okay. Fellowships payment amount. We are offering tuition fees with no maximum amount. Also, there's a specific dotation for travel expenses for fellows who goes to United States, to North America. This travel dotation is 1,500 euros, and for fellows in Europe is 500 euros. There is an initial amount equal a monthly stipend just to cover this expense of installation of the to arrive to the country, and there is also a specific final dotation, final amount when you deliver your diploma or your title. There is a monthly allowance, monthly stipend allowance, depending on the destination country. If you want to see these allowances, you can go to the rule for participation. There you will see there you will find a specific table with this information. The fellowship also include a health insurance, sorry, and the cost of 5 applications and visa fees, if any. What are the eligibility criteria? As I said before, these fellowships are only devoted for Spanish or Portuguese students. So the nationality is a key eligibility criteria. The applicants has to be pursue a bachelor studies in Spain if they are Spanish, or in Portugal if they are Portuguese. These bachelor studies has to be ended up between January 2016 and July 2025. And the last eligibility criteria is the language. If you read the rules for participation, sorry, there is a specific image where you will find all the language certificates for all the languages that we are admitted. Okay. What is the calendar? This call is already open. We open it in November 5, if I don't remember wrong. And the deadline to submit an application is February 5th. Please, this is the most important date in the calendar. We are totally inflexible with this. So please take note of that. There is a second deadline devoted for the language certificate. We give you 15 extra days just to deliver your language certificate. If you have to present or to make a new text, this second deadline is February 19th. And once all the applications are eligible and accepted, we start with the evaluation process. The first phase is the shortlisting phase, and the announcement of the preselection is defined on April 23. And the second phase of the evaluation phase are the interviews. That the interviews in the postgraduate fellowship or abroad program are defined from 12 to 21 of May. And the final results are May 29th. Okay, let's following with the calendar with the start of the fellowship. So if you are granted, if you are happily granted to one of our fellowships, you have to take into account when you will be able to start the fellowship. If you want to pursue studies in Europe, the starting date foreseen is fall term 2025. If you want to pursue studies in ASEAN Pacific region, you can start the fellowship and you can start the program from January to December 2026. And if you want to pursue studies in North America, the starting date of the fellowship should be fall term 2026. These are one of the important dates because we are in some kind and flexible. And it is also important to know that if you want to pursue a program in North America, the beginning of the fellowship is 1 year after you will granted. That's why this difference, because we consider that once you are granted, you need to start with the application process in the United, which is a very long, time-consuming process. And to have a proof of our fellowship maybe can help you to the application process. This is my last slide, just an information that thanks of collaboration with Microban and BPI, we are offering as loans with special conditions for those candidates who have arrived to the interview and they finally has not been granted. Okay, when during the process, you will receive some communication, a specific communication with all this information. And I think this is all for my part. Now my colleague Gisela Corominas is going to give you specific details about the Doctoral Infinite Fellowships program.
Okay, thank you, Belén. So let's have a deeper look into the Doctoral Infinite Fellowships program in Spain and Portugal. Well, this program, this CAL 2025, will award 60 fellowships as last year, 30 fellowships in the incoming frame and 30 fellowships in the retaining frame. The average cost per fellowship is, as last year, is 161,200 euros. The duration of the fellowship is a maximum of 4 years. Here you have a figure of the total investment that La Caixa Foundation has done in the last 20 years towards doctoral research. It is more than 134 million euros. It includes also the fellowships for master studies in Spain, which is already extinguished program. But that shows the commitment of La Caixa Foundation towards doctoral research in Spain and in the last years also in Portugal. This figure means a total number of fellowships of 1,779 fellowships. If we go into more detail regarding the features of the fellowships program in Spain, Belén, if you could just move forward a little bit. Yes, thank you. Well, the main features of this program is that the objective is to fund doctoral studies in Spain or in Portugal. The fellows, those candidates that are awarded a fellowships, must enroll in an official doctoral program in Spain or Portugal. So universities in Spain and in Portugal offer several PhD programs, and so the fellows will enroll in one of these official doctoral programs. As I have said, the maximum duration of the fellowship is 4 years. This is important. I would like to stress that these fellowships are devoted to fund doctoral programs from the very beginning. So that means that those candidates that are interested in this program but have already started a doctoral program are not eligible, okay? The fellowship also includes a training on transversal skills. It means that during the 4 years of the fellowship, there are three transversal skills sessions, where all the candidates are together in a residential training, and they get to know each other. Those fellows from the same cohort get to know each other and are delivered courses regarding soft skills such as scientific communication, project management, well-being, etc. And this is a great opportunity not only to learn, but also to meet other fellows in a very different range of disciplines. Well, the fellowship payment amount, it is divided into three different categories. The first one is the category for the labor costs. This is an amount of 35,800 euros. Here, I would like to note that this figure is not the gross annual salary, but this is a whole amount that is transferred to the host institution that will hire you, because you will be hired to do your PhD. So this amount is transferred to the host institution, and it includes the gross annual salary, but also the social security costs and other taxes. The second category of the fellowship amount is the research costs. It is 3,500 euros per year, and it is devoted to cover, for example, research stays, expenses related to research stays, to registration courses, attendance to congresses, publication costs, and also equipment needed for your research. And the third category is the tuition fees for the doctoral program for each year. Now let's move on to the eligibility criteria. The first one is the studies pursued. So you have to make sure that with the studies you will complete, or you have completed, or you will complete in the nearly future, you are able to enroll in a PhD program in Spain or in Portugal between September and November 2025. So perhaps you are currently doing your master studies, you can apply for the fellowship, but you have to make sure that you will finish your master studies sufficiently in advance to make sure that you can enroll in a PhD program from September 2025 and until November 2025. Candidates cannot have started doctoral studies prior to the start of the fellowship. That is linked to the thing that I was just saying some minutes before, that these fellowships are designed to start doctoral studies, not for the continuation of studies. So fellows that are already enrolled in a PhD program, or that have been enrolled in a PhD program before academic year 25-26 are not eligible for this call. You have to be in the first 4 years of your research experience. So that means that those fellows that have more than 4 years of research experience full-time are not eligible for this call. We count the research experience from the date you finished the studies that make you eligible for doctoral studies. You have to have also an advanced level of English. So we accept several English certificates. So please go to the program rules to see what are the English certificates that we accept, and also the minimum scores that we accept. There is an additional eligibility criterion for the retaining frame, which is that selected candidates must enroll in a PhD program at a university different from that university where you pursued the bachelor studies. And there is also a mobility rule, mobility rule that you have to fulfill, which is different depending on the frame, if the incoming one or the retaining one. So now let's go let's see what are these incoming and retaining frame. Okay, so the incoming frame, well, the objective of the retaining frame is to attract the best international researchers at the Spanish and Portuguese research centers of excellence. Candidates of any nationality can apply, but those that want to do the research in Spain must have resided less than 12 months in the last 3 years in Spain, and those candidates that want to do the research in Portugal must have resided less than 12 months in the last 3 years in Portugal. The incoming frame is devoted exclusively to STEM disciplines. That means that fellows in the incoming modality will do the research, the doctorate in health sciences, life sciences, technologies, engineering, mathematics, etc. disciplines. So humanities and social sciences are excluded for the incoming frame. Also, the fellows in the incoming frame will do the research in a specific list of research centers of excellence in Spain and Portugal. So they have to choose a center that has the seal of excellence issued by the Ministry of Spain or the Ministry of well, not Science, but the Fundação para a Ciência e a Tecnologia in Portugal. Later on, I will explain you a little bit more what are these research centers of excellence. The retaining frame. Well, the objective for the retaining frame is to retain the best researchers at any universities and research centers in Spain and in Portugal. So candidates can be of any nationality, but those that want to do the research in Spain must have resided more than 12 months in the last 3 years in Spain, and those that want to do the research in Portugal must have resided more than 12 months in the last 3 years in Portugal. In this frame, candidates of any discipline are welcome. So also humanities and social sciences are included in this retaining frame. And all the research centers and universities in Spain and Portugal are eligible to hire the retaining fellows. So that means that all researchers you as a candidate can do the doctoral in any research center or university in Spain or Portugal, regardless it is an accredited research centers of excellence or not. Okay, so the research centers of excellence are those research centers that in Spain have the excellence seal issued by the Spanish Ministry of Science and the Spanish Ministry of Health. So namely, there are 33 Severo research centers of excellence in the STEM disciplines and 25 Unidades María de Maeztu and 35 Institutos de Salud Carlos III. In Portugal, the eligible units where you can do your PhD, there are 74 excellent units qualified as excellent by the Fundação para a Ciência e Tecnologia de Portugal. You can see the complete list of these centers in our website. You can go to the website and see in the section of the Doctoral Infinites program, you can download the full list of these centers just to see what are these centers, in what disciplines they do research. And also when you open an application, or perhaps you have already opened it, an application, you will see in the studies to be pursued section that you have to choose among a list of these research centers. If you do not find research centers, probably is because it doesn't have the seal of accreditation by Spain or by Portugal. This is the timeline for the incoming frame. As Belén has already said, the call is already open. It will close on the 23rd of January. If you tick the box to submit the English certificate on the second deadline, you will have to submit it until the 6th of February. As Belén has already said, we are very strict with the deadlines, so please make sure that you have all the documents ready sufficiently in advance to submit your fellowship or to submit your English certificate on time. The results will be announced, the results for the preselection phase will be announced on the 11th of April, and the interviews will take place on the 28th and 29th of May. The final results, so the list of the selected candidates, will be published on the 6th of June, and the fellowships must start between September and November 2025. And in those specific cases that are considered exceptional and that are approved by La Caixa Foundation, the fellowship will be allowed to start until the 31st of January of 2026. This is the very, very last day to start the fellowship. Regarding the retaining calendar, well, the call is already open. It will close on the 18th of February. If you tick the box to submit the English certificate on the second deadline, you will have time until the 4th of March. The results of the preselection will be announced on the 19th of May, and the interviews will take place on the 11th, 12th, and 13th of June. The final list of candidates, well, the final selected candidates will be published on the 25th of June. And as for the incoming frame, the fellowship must start between September and November. And in duly justified cases and approved by La Caixa Foundation, it can start until the 31st of January 2026. Well, we have talked about the financial amount that the La Caixa Foundation awards to our fellows, but there is an added value in our fellowships, which is that as soon as you are a fellow, you belong to the La Caixa Foundation Fellows Association, which is a network of academic and professional talent. It's built up of all those people that have been awarded a fellowship from the La Caixa Foundation from the very beginning of the creation of our program. So now it is built up of more than 6,200 people from all the disciplines. And together with the fellowships team, we organize several encounters, meetings, and gatherings where all the fellows from all the disciplines get together. And we think and we know that this is a fantastic way to start professional collaborations and also friendships for sure. There are also the training on transversal skills that I have already mentioned some minutes ago. This is a way also to reinforce the sense of belonging to the La Caixa Foundation Fellows Network, to establish links between the fellows and with the La Caixa Foundation. The doctoral program and the postdoctoral program include the training on transversal skills, and the postgraduate abroad program and bachelor program include also sessions of networking and orientation that aims also to reinforce this sense of belonging to the La Caixa community fellows. So now I pass the floor to my colleague, Patricia Nadal. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Gisela. If you ask us if those fellowships, the fellowships are offering are competitive, I will say, and my colleagues will be really agree, that the quick answers will be yes, they are. If you see the figures here into the screen, you will see that we get around more than 4,000 applications for the 250 fellowships that we offer. So talking about those numbers, the success rate that usually we get annually is about the 6%. If you just to make you a little bit an overview of the last call, 2024, you will see here the applications received. So the postgraduate abroad, we received more than 1,000 applications, while for the doctoral infinite program, we got around 1,500 applications. So you will see here that there are a lot of applications that they not pass the whole selection process, but that doesn't mean that you are not good. It's just that they are very, very competitive. So you may think when you get into the results that maybe the comparisons with the rest of the candidates are in the quartiles or so are low or not. You will really must understand that these fellowships that we're offering are really, really competitive. It's not that you are bad. It's just that they are really good candidates, and you are competing with a lot of people that has a very, very high level and excellent applications. So just to give an overview about the submitted applications per awarded fellowship, you will see here that postgraduate abroad is getting around 11 applications per fellowships award. The infinite retaining is about 26, 27 applications per fellowship, and then the incoming frame at the doctoral infinite is around 23 and 24. Those numbers are of the last year, but more or less we're getting the same ratio each year. So now I will explain you really briefly how are the applications evaluated? So how is working with the application process? I will do a really quick overview about the whole selections process, but I would like to share with you that in case you have really specific questions regarding the application process, or you would like to get more information about the criteria or how the scoring are getting or so on, you have to address to our webpage as well, as my colleague Belen said before. So you must check the guide for applications that is available into the website. Okay, that's it will be really helpful for you in case you have questions regarding the selection process or even the criteria. And just a recommendation, please read the criteria, the whole bunch of the criteria that I will explain you later on to write down your statement of purpose. That will really essential to understand how the evaluators are taking into account your application and your statement of purpose. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to say to share with you is that we get okay. That's thank you very much, Philip. That the peer review that we do in our processes is taking into account this guide that you see here, and is the European Peer Review Guide. Okay, so this is a guide that is used by several foundations. It's made by the European Science Foundation, and we are really strict with the rules. So with the processes that we are performing. To understand how the process is and how big the processors are, we would like to share with you the number of experts that has been taking part last year into the all programs. So the number is 522 experts working together to do your evaluation in one of the programs that you have been applying for. So both the doctoral and the postgraduate fellowships take into account 3 stages into the selection process. So the first one, it will be the eligibility check. This is the step in which a technical office, together with the team of La Caixa Foundation, check your candidacy and detect if there are any of the criteria that or the requirements of the call of applications that you are that you must fulfill. It's if there are any problems or not. At that step, you may receive or not communications from the technical office requesting you to make an amendment to your application. If it is the case that your application is really good and you don't have to do anything, then you will get a notification to say that if your application is eligible or not eligible. Okay. So please check your email just to be sure that everything in your application is well done, so you don't need to make an amendment for that. So the very say core steps into the selection process are the shortlisting stage and the interviews stage. I will get into detail later on, but I would like to share with you before the evaluation scoring scale that we are using at La Caixa Foundation's Fellowships programs, which is the one that you are seeing to the screen. That will be from 1 very poor to 8 exceptional. That means that your scores and the evaluation scoring scale that the experts are using to do your evaluation is this one, going from 1 to 8. You will get then the scoring in the final resource in this scale, meaning that, for example, if you get an 8, you will be exceptional, 7 is an excellent, and so on into the scale. Okay, we would like to share this with you because several questions that we get through the email are regarding the scores that the candidates are getting. So it's important to take into account and take in mind that this is the scores that we use and the scale that we are using. So regarding the shortlisting, okay, this will be the first step of the evaluation. This is a step in which each application is evaluated by 3 evaluators that are working remotely, so they are working from home, and your application will be evaluated by those evaluators, okay? Taking into account as much as possible the expertise or the discipline they are working for. Okay, this system that we are working with the shortlisting, it gets several processes and mechanisms to be as much as let's say, to guarantee the justice of the system. So there are two processes that we do while the evaluators are has been already evaluated. The first one is the monitoring system of the discrepancies, which means that if they are evaluators, if there are more than two evaluators with a big discrepancy into the score, then we will send them back the application, your application, in order to check if they haven't done or not any problem, or they have do any mistake or error into the evaluation. So at this step, we really verify that there are not technical mistakes or errors into the evaluation of the application. In the same way, we do another process, which is we use the level of expertise of the evaluator, which means that if the evaluator that is evaluating you has the same field of research as you have, or the same field of your studies, then it gets a little higher weight into your final score. Okay? That assures that the person that knows really about what you are talking about is the one that is getting a little bit higher weight into your final scoring. Okay? So now I will explain you the evaluation criteria. This is important to take into mind because this is one of the core things in order to make competitive your application. Okay, so the first in this first step, the shortlisting, we will take into account both for the postgraduate abroad and the doctoral infinite fellowships, three main criteria. The first one is the qualifications and curriculum. That it is the 50% of your final score in this step. In this criteria, the academic records and curriculum vitae, we will take into account the academic transcript, but not exclusively. We will take into account also the training that you have done, the awards, the honors. We will ask also the evaluators that they take into account also that the younger candidates will be a less extensive CV, but this will be important not to penalize those people. And then, for example, we request to the evaluators also to check about the consistency of the curriculum, which that means that, for example, I put an example. If you have been studying physics and you have done your master's in physics, but suddenly you would like to do a doctorate in biology, you should explain to the evaluators why you have changed your mind, why you have an objective in that specific doctorate, okay? Because that's important. It doesn't matter if your CV has not a consistency, but you should explain why this is important. The deviations should be explained and justified. And finally, also we have also the 30% of the next criteria. That's 30% of the motivational statement of purpose. Okay. And at this step, they will take into account mostly the statement of purpose that you have written into the application. That is a maximum of 3 pages. And the things that we will be taking into account are the gut structure and consistency, to be original at a certain extent, whether the chosen studies are well justified, and if they are the studies and the choice of your host institution are allowing you to achieve your candidate goals, your goals, okay? And also other things that they will take into account is, for example, that the proposal has including the interdisciplinarity, intersectorality. If you have been doing collaborations with other environments, cultural, scientific, and so on, so that will be really valued really positively. And also, it does. Although the admission is not required, if you have it already, you should demonstrate and make a reasoning of why this selected program is giving you chances to get your goals, your personal and professional goals. Okay. That also, mostly for applying disciplines, it's a little bit more difficult for basic disciplines. It will be really important to express the impact on society. Okay. So we will also like to explain that in case of a tie, that they are very candidates are really close to each other in terms of the scoring. The preference will be given to candidates that have not been previously benefit from a similar fellowship or grant. Okay. And lastly, the third criteria will be the reference letters. That is the 20% of the scores of the. And in this criteria, the profile of the reference is really important, while the the letters written in a personalized manner, so meaning that a personal letter for you, not done by artificial intelligence, that is really explaining your own skills and so on. That will be really important to get it and to demonstrate it into the in your candidacy. It's important to mention that reference letters are not shown to the candidates. Okay, so this is an automatic process that my colleague Elsa will explain you later on. So it's important to maintain the anonymity of the reference letters, and you are not allowed to request the reference letters to the team, to La Caixa Foundation. Okay, and the last step, in the case that you pass to the next step, the next step will be the interviews. Okay, interviews are done in a hybrid mode. And what does it mean? Hybrid mode means that the candidates are at home while the evaluators are all together here at La Caixa Foundation headquarters to do the evaluation. So you may do the interview through the Zoom platform. We do the interviews by multidisciplinary committees. What does it mean? You have been selected into your application, your panel of evaluation. Those panels are gathered in the four main field of research that we consider here at La Caixa Foundation, which that means the arts and humanities, social sciences, lab sciences, and then physics, mathematics, chemistry, and engineering. Okay, so those are the main areas of expertise that we use to do the multidisciplinary committees. In each of the committees, per area of knowledge, they are composed by 5 to 7 experts. So for example, taking into account the life sciences one. In the panel of life sciences one, it could be a pharmacist, it could be a biologist, but it could be also a bioinformatician. Okay. In the same way, in the social science panel, there could be an economist or a person that is working in law or a person in journalism, for example. Okay. And the final score will take into account also the shortlisting stage. So the score given into the shortlisting will take into account as one evaluator in the final score that you will get. Okay. At this step, what are the evaluation criteria, both also for the postgraduate and doctoral infinite programs? The first one, the first criteria is the candidate potential, which will be the 40% of the final score. And at this step, the evaluators will take into account that you explain with clarity, that your discourse will have a kind of originality, let's say, but also we will discuss and will detect your leadership skills or your soft skills, the capacity of teamwork, or the entrepreneurship. Okay. So they are very soft skills that evaluations will take into account. That most of the things that they will take into account at this step is they are things that they could not have been evaluated by a remote evaluation. So there are things that they are only detecting while they do an interview in person or just by talking. And the next criteria will be the motivation and statement of purpose, which will be the 30% of the final score. Is more or less the same as this criteria is more or less the same as in the shortlisting, but they will make you questions regarding the statement of purpose to things that has not been previously detected into the shortlisting. So if they are, for example, discrepancies, or if they have been there's something that they really don't see from your candidacy, they will ask to you in order to clarify those aspects. And in the same way, the last criteria in this step would be the academic and professional background. That would be the 30%, and it will be exactly the same. The criteria will be the same as in the shortlisting. So the transcripts, but not only. They will take into account also the training, the awards, the honors. And at this step into the interviews, it's important to verify that what you have written into your application is still the same as when you do the interviews, because the time has been passed. So, for example, if you are getting an award in the meantime while you have done your application and then you do the interview, it's important to mention into the interview. Okay. So now, for my part, this is everything over. I will pass the word to my colleague Elsa, who will be explaining you how to do the application. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. And yes, this is the last section of our presentation. So here in the screen, you will see the address of the online application form where you can apply for one of our fellowships. And don't worry, because you can also find this link in our website. So as a novelty of this year, we need to tell you that we have started using a new platforms for the applications. In case that you applied to our fellowship in previous calls, you can access the information of these previous applications in the section call information, and then you should go to key documents. So in the application, you will see that there are different sections called call information, studies to be pursued, reference letters that you must complete, providing the information and all the documents requested. In the studies to be pursued section, it's very important that you choose correctly your evaluation panel, because this will determine the group of experts that will assess your candidacy. So you are choosing your evaluators by making this choice, so you need to be very careful. If you are not sure about this choice, because your project is maybe multidisciplinary, you should choose the panel that you think that would fit your project best. You often ask us about this, and we really don't have the answer because you are the ones who better know your project, so it's really up to you. In order to request the reference letters, you must complete before some information from the section studies to be pursued. Once these boxes have been filled, you need to click in the button Unlock Reference Letters, and this will let you ask for the letters. After that, if you want to modify the information of the studies that you want to pursue, you will need to click in the button Modify Studies, change the information, and click again in Unlock Reference Letters. This is very important. And finally, some advice. Please read carefully the rules of the program and the frequent asked questions. If you are considering if you could be eligible, if you have more questions or doubts, please write an email to fellowships@contact.fundaciolacaixa.org. That appears in this email is appearing here in the screen. Regarding the letters of reference, the first thing that you should do when starting your applications is to fill up the personal data and then the studies to be pursued pursuit sections, and then immediately you should proceed to contact your referees. After introducing some required information about them, you will automatically receive a message with your request. This email contains a link to a form. In the form, the evaluators will need to ask some qualitative questions about the candidate, and then they will be able also to write the letter in this form and send it. So finally, when you have completed all the sections, you will be able to send to click the send button of the application. But for that, you need to receive at least three letters of reference. Sorry. If you ask for 5, which is the maximum, you can still send your application, and the remaining 2 will be added to your applications as far as the referees have submitted them before the application deadline. So as said before, do it as soon as you can, because it's a pity that some candidates end up not sending almost complete applications because they didn't receive the letters on time. So in this sense, it's very important that you ask for those letters as soon as possible. As for the statement of purpose, please be clear and concise, because it can only be 3 pages long. You can find a template of how it might look in the application. And please remember the deadlines that you can find in the rules of the program. Start your application and prepare all the required documents as soon as you can. And that's it. Please remember that you can follow us in our social media like Instagram, Twitter. And here you can also find the link to our website with all the information about the fellowships program and how you can apply for one of these fellowships. And of course, if you have any comments, questions, or doubts, please write an email and we will reply to you as soon as possible. And now we move to the last part of our session, which is answering the questions that you have been writing in the chat.
Okay. Sorry. So we can start with the questions. The first one is for the postgraduate program. What if the program is in Europe, but starts in January 2026? If this is the only starting date of the program, there will be any problem to start the program in January 2026.
Okay. So the second question is for graduate program. For master studies, is there any issue if we are already living abroad? No, absolutely no. The only requirement is that you have the Spanish or the Portuguese nationality, but you don't need to live in Spanish or Portugal.
There is a question for the doctorate program, doctoral infinite fellowships program. Can the PhD be done in 2 different universities if both are in Spain and Portugal? Well, you have to choose one university in Spain or in Portugal to pursue the PhD, because you will have to enroll in just one university and you will be hired just by one institution. I mean, you can, of course, do research stays and have also like a co-supervisor from another university, but you have to mainly go to a PhD in Spain or in Portugal, depending also, please make sure that you fulfill the mobility rule and also the other criteria.
Next one, I'm currently applying to PhD positions in the US. Would it be possible to start my PhD in fall 2025, even if the fellowship does not start until fall 2026? No, this is not possible because the fellowship must start with the program. This is a modification that we added last year.
But in these cases, you can apply for a deferral in your university, and they can save your place to the next year, so you can start the fellowship and the program in the same moment. And the next question for postgraduate is: I'm Spanish and completed my university studies in Spain, graduating in 2021. I have been living in the UK since then. I am eligible to apply for postgraduate fellowship in the UK. Yes, of course, there's, as we said before, if you are living abroad or in the same country where you want to do your studies, it's not a problem.
The next one is a general question. Is it possible to apply simultaneously to the postgraduate studies abroad for PhD and the doctoral infinite program? Not. This is not possible. You can to choose one of the what the calls to apply for.
Okay, the next question is, in some cases, universities in the US give some amount of money to their graduate students. Is this fellowship compatible with that amount of money, or should I reject one of both fundings? And what about other fellowships? So in these cases, well, we evaluate case by case the compatibility with other fundings, but it's true that it's normal in some countries that the minimum salary for graduate students is fixed by the universities, and in these cases, La Caixa Foundation allows the institutions to complement our fellowship until this fixed amount. But it's, of course, it's not compatible to have one fellowship and another fellowship that are covering the same concepts. Have two salaries at the same time. But if just a complement, it would be compatible.
Okay, question for the doctoral fellowships. Hello, for the doctoral studies, is a candidate coming with their research topic or working on a research project already on ground? Well, the thing is, you have to start as I have already said, to start a doctorate from the very beginning. So if you are already working in a research project and you are currently enrolled in a PhD program, you will not be eligible for the doctoral fellowships. I'm not sure if I have understood properly the question, but perhaps Patricia can just add any information.
Well, complementing what Gisela said, I may understand from your question that you are asking if you have to be original and present your own research topic, or you have to choose from one of the ones that are already into the institution that you would like to get into and continue the research already ongoing. If that's the case, that we are not really sure about your question, uh, both things are completely okay. If you have your own research topic, you have not already decided at which center you would like to enroll. But you would like to pursue that specific research topic, that will be really fine. But you must take into account that at the end you will need to select a doctoral program and then an institution into your candidacy. So it will be nice if you discuss it with someone from the institution before you present your statement of purpose. In the same way, if you would like to select a project that is already ongoing at the institution of your choice, that will be really perfectly fine.
Okay, next one. In the application, do you have to put all the certificates verifying that you have won an award or participated on an event, or do they ask you for that if you are shortlisted? In the application process, it's not needed to add all these kind of certificates. However, in the rules for participations, it's already specified that all the merits, all the awards, all the grants can be proved. So after all the process, and maybe it's probably that you receive a request to prove this kind of information. And there's another question: do you have to translate into English all this as well? If any, yes. All information has to be that you upload has to be in English.
Okay, a question for doctoral fellowships. In previous call, there was a matching stage conducted by the center. Is this step removed? Well, thank you for posing this question, because actually it is a novelty, and yes, it is removed. There is no matching process. There is no matching process anymore. For candidates that have already applied in previous calls, they know that there was a matching stage in the incoming frame where the research centers offered specific predoctoral positions, and the candidate must choose among these several positions. Now this doesn't exist, so the candidates must just state the PhD program they would like to enroll in if they are awarded the fellowship. So it works just as in the retaining frame. You just have to state what is the PhD program you would like to enroll in, okay? And another question regarding the doctoral fellowships: are there any fellowships that could be applied for along with the Infinite, or is it restricted to only having this one? Well, in terms of applying, you cannot apply simultaneously to the, as Belén has already said, simultaneously to the Infinite program and the postgraduate abroad program. It is not possible, but I guess you are considering other PhD funding, so you can apply what you consider. This is not incompatible to applying to other funds. Regarding the Infinite rules, it is not incompatible, but you cannot have two fellowships. You cannot combine two fellowships. You will see it in the program rules. So the Infinite fellowships are not compatible with any other paid work, funding, or fellowships, etc. Okay.
So the next question for postgraduate studies. I see in the application portal there is only one spot to enter the desired university. Nevertheless, in case I am granted with your fellowship, you pay up to 5 applications. Should I choose one for my statement of purpose, even though? So yes, in the application, you should put which is your preferred option, your first option. But of course, we really like it's very important that you have other options, that you apply to other universities in order to guarantee that you get at least one admission. And of course, you can mention your other options in the statement of purpose.
Okay, question for the doctoral fellowships. Good morning. How detailed should we be about the PhD project in the statement of purpose? Actually, it is not required to explain a detailed doctoral research project. But if you perhaps you have already finished your master and now you're doing doing research already, so you know more than others that perhaps are still studying the master's degree. So if you know what you want to do and you have information on and more details about the PhD project you would like to pursue, you can write it down. But in principle, there is no penalization towards those candidates that are in a previous step of their career, because we understand that, and the experts that will evaluate your candidacy are informed that you cannot penalize if you are just finishing the master studies and you do not know exactly what will be your project or the details of the project you will do. And if you already know it, you can just state it. But it is not a requirement to write a detailed PhD research project. Next question is also regarding the doctoral fellowship program. Well, and also can apply to the postgraduate program. The English certificate can be older of 2 years. Actually, we do not check if the date of issue of the English certificate, so it can be older of 2 years, but it must be a valid certificate. So it must be one of the certificates stated in our rules and with the minimum score required. The next question for the retaining doctoral fellowships: how important it is to justify the program university in the statement of purpose? Well, it is important in the sense that you will be assessed in terms of your potential as a person that is the perfect person to do what you want to do in the place where you want to do it. So I think that with more information, it will be easier for the evaluators to evaluate your candidacy. So I think that you have to show that you are the perfect person to do that doctorate in that institution. I don't know if Patricia, you would like to add any information. It's okay. Thank you.
Next question is for postgraduate. Does the tuition fee of the master's impact the results of the candidacy? Is there a maximum cost for the master's to be eligible? No, there is no maximum cost of the tuition, and there is no impact in your candidacy. So that's it.
Okay, another question for the doctoral fellowships program. Do you need to decide where and with who you will do the doctorate retaining one before the selection or during it? Or you can decide when you are selected? Well, the person with whom you will do the doctorate is not a requirement. If you already know it, it's perfect. You can just write it in your statement of purpose and explain it. If you do not know, in principle, you will not be penalized for this because it's not a requirement. And of course, that if you have an idea of a PhD supervisor and you write it down in your statement of purpose, and then finally the PhD supervisor is another one, it is not a problem. You can change it if you know that you are selected. That's not a problem. Anyway, we recommend you, you will see it in the program rules, if you are shortlisted, if you are pre-selected, to contact the research center or the university, and also, if you can, the research group where you would like to do your PhD studies. It's a recommendation. So if you already have met people that you will be with during your PhD, well, I mean, it's better because it's recommended for us. And if you know it beforehand, you can just write it down in your statement of purpose. Yes. Another question, examples of additional information to be considered. I imagine that you're referring to the section, perhaps, of studies to be pursued. You have to choose one university or research center. You have to state the PhD program you would enroll. And if there is a free box additional information, here you can write other PhD programs or other host institutions that you are considering, for example. I noticed another question. I noticed that the matching stage with centers is removed. Exactly. I have already just mentioned this. Do you have any advice for the statement of purpose, since we will now be writing about both our personal professional experiences and our project proposal in 1,300 characters? Okay, exactly. You do not know, I mean, you cannot choose a research project. So it seems that it's more difficult to know what to write in the statement of purpose. But I invite you to go to the application, the online application form. You here, well, in that specific section of a statement of purpose, you can download a guide to write the statement of purpose. I am sure that you will see ideas that will help you, because also in the retaining frame, there didn't have these research projects that existed in the incoming, and just write what is the PhD program that you would like to do. And as I had said before, just show that you're the perfect person to do that in that place. And other question for the doctoral fellowships program, where do we explain discrepancies in our CV? In the statement of purpose? Well, yes, I would say that in the statement of purpose, yes. Okay, another question for the doctoral fellowships. I started a master's degree because I couldn't find funding for a PhD, even though my undergraduate allows me to pursue a PhD. I am on my first semester of the master's. I don't have an academic yet. What document should I upload? You do not have an academic record. I would invite you to ask your university what document you can have, because otherwise, well, all the information that you put in your online application must be proved by a document. So if you state that you are doing a PhD, a PhD, a master's degree, we need to know, you have to prove it. So perhaps you can just maybe download from the internet of your university some document, even though it's not an official academic record, but maybe the status of your scores. I don't know. You can just, I invite you to write us an email explaining us a little bit more your situation to see if there is something that can be stated just to show or to prove that you're pursuing these master's degrees. Thank you.
So next question is for the postgraduate program. Should we ask the reference letters to a professional or university we have attended? So you can ask a reference letter to any person that you have had contact with in all your professional or academic career.
For the incoming doctoral or the doctoral or the postgraduate also, it could be applied to both programs. How important are the bachelor's degree grades in the calculation of the final score? Well, I invite you to see the selection process guidelines. You'll find information there that will help you to know how it is important or not, okay? Thank you.
Okay, next one is for postgraduate. Okay, if I would like to study a master in American university, do I understand correctly that I will have to be admitted at the university first and then apply for the fellowship? No, you didn't understand correctly. First of all, you have to apply for a fellowship. The fellowship will be announced on May 2025. And after that, once you have granted, you have to start with the application process in the United States, and then with the objective to start the fellowship in fall term 2025-26. So this is the calendar. We are not requiring an admission to apply for our fellowships because to get an admission in the university in the American universities, it's a very time-consuming process, time-consuming and also expensive process. So it has sense to start with the process once you get the fellowship. If you have already, as my colleague Elsa mentioned before, if you have already been admitted to start your program in 2025, you can require a deferral to move your starting day on the next year, just to be compatible the starting day of the program with the starting day of the fellowship.
So the next question is also for the postgraduate. If the person you have asked for a reference letter doesn't work at the same organization where you work it together, can they use their personal email or an email from their new place of work? Thank you. Yes, this case is yes, no problem with this.
Next one, the master degree must be outside Portugal for Portuguese students, or there are any possibility to do at least the first year of the master curricular year in Portugal and the thesis in other countries? No, there is no possibility to combine this destination if you are Portuguese, and the fellowship has to be devoted to pursue postgraduates outside Portugal. So the complete program has to be done outside Portugal.
There is a general question. In additional information, what type of documents are attached here? Well, you can attach, I don't know, summer courses you have attended, or perhaps congresses, or etc. I don't know, any other idea?
The next question is, if certificates are issued in Spanish, should we get them translated? Should this translation be official? Thank you. No, in this case, you can do your own translation and attach it to the application. It's not necessary to be an official translation.
Okay, one question for doctorate. Is residence less than 12 months necessary while applying, or might it be applicable afterwards? So you have to take into account that the reference date is the date of closure of the call. So you have to count the deadline of the call and go back 3 years. Okay, so if we have any doubt regarding the fulfillment of the mobility requirement, we will contact you during the process of the eligibility screening. Okay, and you in the application you just have to write where you have lived and what your main tasks have been during each period. You do not have to add any document proving that you have lived here or there, but in case there are any doubts during the eligibility screening, we will ask you for these documents. Okay. Another question for doctorate. You already need to know which project will you do in the statement of purpose or in the pre-selection process, or you can put the different possible project you will do. As I have said before, you do not need to know the specific project that you will do. If you already know it, perfect, but it is not a requirement. During the preselection process, as I have already said, we highly recommend you to contact the research group where you would like to do the PhD. Okay, if you are considering two different projects, I imagine that are similar, you can also state it in the statement of purpose, of course, yeah. B2 level English accepted in the Escola Oficial de Idiomas. Please go to the rules and check what is the minimum score required, okay? Another question for the doctoral program. My master finishes in November. Can I apply to the fellowship or not? Because I won't have the requirements to do a PhD in Spain until the end of the master's. Perhaps you will have to wait and apply for call 2026, because if your master finishes in November, I'm not sure if you will be able to enroll in November. I think you do not have much time to do that. So perhaps you would have to apply on the next call. If you can just write us an email with this more specific information, maybe we can help you. Okay, another question for the doctoral fellowships. Can I decline a fellowship I've been awarded from another institution to accept the La Caixa fellowship? I think it's more, you have to focus more on the other institution, because I don't know if there is any penalty for the other institution. What is sure is that you cannot accept two fellowships, that's for sure. And if you are awarded a La Caixa fellowship and you rejected just to have the other one, you will not be able to apply in these fellowships in future calls. Okay.
Just complementing what Gisela said, please take into account that you cannot have a contract, a PhD contract before, and you have not been already started a PhD, which that means that we are not sure about if you are talking about another fellowship, another PhD fellowship, but if that's the case, then take into account that the contract has not been already started, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Another question for doctoral fellowships. Can I have other streams of income during the fellowship, YouTube, Amazon? As I have already said, these fellowships are not compatible with any other paid work, financial aid, fellowships, incomes, etc. So in principle, it is not possible to combine both incomes.
The next one is for postgraduate. Will we be informed at any point during the application of our grade? And yes, after each evaluation process, you will receive in the platform, and there will be a specific section where you will find your specific grades, scores, and the quartiles that you are that your application is distributed in your preselection panel. It is only quantitative information, no qualitative information.
Okay, so the next one for the postgraduate program. If the masters I want to pursue in Europe closes the application before the La Caixa fellowships are granted, can I apply to the master's program while application is ongoing? should start in the fall term 2025? Yes. And this is a really normal situation for the fellowships in Europe, because some of the programs, their deadlines for applications close before you know if you are granted or fellowship or no. So you are responsible for sending your applications in the calendar of the destination university, and then you will get the results of a fellowship. Yes.
And next general question, if you are not selected, you can do some research or collaborate with some research groups in the year you are not selected and apply again to the fellowship in 2026. And I suppose you are meaning if you can contact, or if we give you some contacts to improve your candidacy for the next year. No, we are not provide this kind of advice. Sorry? You want to add something? Yes. No, no. Let me continue. However, it's totally normal that you probably know somebody who has been applying in this year, or maybe previous year, that maybe can help you to improve your candidacy. Now, Patricia, I want to ask something.
Yes, thank you, Belén. In the case that you are asking if you can work into another research group or do certain kind of collaborations, yes, that's possible. That's not a problem. But please take into account that you cannot have a contract, at least into the doctoral program, you cannot have a contract that allows you to make the PhD. Okay, so that's it's important information that you have to take into account in case you would like to apply again next year. But there wouldn't be any problem to do some collaborations until you apply again for the fellowship. In the same way, in the case that you would like to look for research groups that you would like to do your research, just going through the webpage and contact with institutions, okay, with institutions of your choice. Thank you.
Sorry, I did not understand the question correctly. Again, next question, if the person is going to write my reference letter, does know English, but is the ideal person for me to do it, but is the ideal person, what could be the solution? So the solution that he has to make the efforts to send the reference letter in English. We are not accepting reference letters in any other languages or in Spain, so he has to make an effort to do it in English. So I think there is another question for postgraduate. If the person is going to write my reference, no, sorry, this is the last one. So I think there are no more questions on the room. So thank you very much to participate in the session. I've realized that I made a mistake in the email in the contact email of the presentation. I think you have already been informed about the correct email. Let me repeat again. The correct email is fellowship at contact.fundacionlacaixa.org. Fundación in La Caixa in Catalan without ends. So sorry for the mistake. Have a good day and thank you very much.